how many emails I have received, how many phone calls, people calling me and telling me that I'm a cunt.
Welcome back to Moose on the Loose. We have quite the spicy episode today. We've got Miss Khalid dropping an F-bomb in committee and just having a complete meltdown. We've got Mark Miller also having a meltdown, a rage attack, as his committee meetings are unbelievable. He threatens to sue the Conservative asking the question. And we've also got the parliamentary budget officer in the hot seat as a few of his numbers weren't processed properly, and now the Liberals are jumping all over it like it's some sort of smoking gun that justifies their carbon tax. Let's get into this. First up, we've got Conservative Arpan Khanna, who questions Mark Miller, and Mark Miller is a nasty man. You don't really hear him talk much, and he usually just kind of puts on his fake smile, but he is a nasty man. So to set this clip up, they've got a committee meeting talking about Gaza and Sudan and bringing in people from those places. And basically the Conservative starts grilling Mark Miller about whether or not police background checks are required for temporary people coming into our country.
Minister, of course it's relevant. So it's a simple question, yes or no answer. Are all temporary residents that come to our country, including international students, required to submit a police clearance certificate and criminal background checks before they enter Canada? It's a very, very simple yes or no question. It's black and white. Yes or no?
So first, let's make a couple things clear. I don't tell you what questions to ask. Don't tell
me.
Yes
or no question,
Don't
Minister.
tell me what kind of. Don't tell me how to answer those questions.
Let's hear your answer for the question.
Thank you. First of all, we do criminal verification by doing biometrics on people. That means taking their fingerprints. We search databases, partner databases, including security partner databases, and as well as the RCMP. And we have a number of cascading questions for anyone that wants to come in to Canada to assess whether they go to secondary screening. Now, on the issue of police certificates, we do not, as a routine matter, require those for temporary residents. The next question you should probably pose is how reliable are those police certificates? I don't think you would. I think you would agree with me.
I have limited time, Mr. Chair.
Please go ahead. I started the watch.
Sorry, I understand how the program works, and my question is to you. You made a statement a few weeks ago to the media when the media clearly asked you, are criminal background checks done? And you said yes. And when the media asked, how does that work? You said if they have a criminal background check, if they have a criminal background, that they're not allowed to the country. So now you're telling me that police clearance certificates and background checks at the country of origin are not completed. Is that true?
I think your premise is that police certificates are the starting point and the be-all and end-all of a comprehensive security check, which they are not. I think you would agree with me that a Hamas-issued security certificate or police certificate would not be acceptable for someone exiting Gaza. Do you agree with me?
You'll have your chance, Minister, to ask those questions when you're on the other side of the bench. But my question is simple for you is that you misled the media and you misled Canadians when they were asking you a point-blank question. So the question is very simple. Did you purposely mislead Canadians, or were you not confident enough to say that during the time the media asked you that? So which one is it? Are you misleading Canadians, or were you incompetent and you didn't know your file, your process for your old file?
He's getting absolutely scorched here, man. This guy, oh man. Yeah, Mark Miller's getting pissed off.
So you're new to this place, MP Khanna.
For this day, MP Khanna is stepping in for Tom Cpac as like a pinch hitter, like a temporary. So he's not typically in these meetings.
So you're new to this place, MP Khanna. You are making a lot of assumptions. I think perhaps you have fallen victim to the algorithms of your chief. The reality is, Minister, I did not mislead
Point
anyone.
of order on this, Minister? I mean, just Chair.
Up the watch, and there's a point of order.
Isn't that culturally insensitive against First Nations by calling them Pierre Poilievre as a chief? I don't know. I'm just saying, man.
I've been elected to this House for about a year now, and regardless if I've been here for a year, 10 years or 15 years, the minister should not be questioning my competence on the file. Clearly, he didn't have the answer when the media asked him these questions. He clearly misled Canadians, and now he's throwing accusations back at me, saying I'm not informed. I think you should go back and read his ministerial department notes and maybe even listen to the predecessor who said that they were not done earlier. So before you start throwing accusations, please read your own documents.
I would ask Honorable Minister, I agree with Mr. Khanna. I think those comments are not appropriate.
On the website, it clearly states that police clearance certificates are not mandatory. Your predecessor, Sean Fraser, the Minister of Immigration, now Housing Minister, who caused this housing crisis because of his reckless policies at the time when he was minister, himself has said that police clearance certificates and criminal background checks at the country of origin are not mandatory. So why did you tell the media that question when they asked you point blank?
Mr. Khanna, so Madam Cpac, please go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate that we have a visiting member today. All of us want to get through the Sudan and Gaza questions. Can we stay on relevance, please, Mr. Chair?
Thank you. I will go to Mr. Khanna. Mr. Khanna.
Absolutely. I think it's irrelevant because it's with the intent.
So she's the liberal, just so everyone knows. They always do that crap where they interject and break the conservatives' train of thought.
Integrity of our system. So it's a very general question I'm asking for this program. Can the minister let me know how many Canadians have been let into Canada that have submitted police clearance certificates and criminal background checks before entering Canada?
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Minister.
Point of order.
Just a minute.
Get her out of there.
To Madam Cpac, please.
Thank you.
Does the minister have the answer to this?
Just clarifying with the clerk, can you just reread for the rest of all of us to know what the subject of the conversation today is so that we can stay on that? We want to get to our questions as well.
That's fine, Madam Cpac. I will go to Minister.
Resident, you obviously have to provide those types of checks, but for temporary residents, I never said, and this is where you are misleading people, Mr. Khanna and your colleagues, that police certificates were required. I said we did verification. That's what we do. That is true. If you assume the contrary, you assume all the responsibility and liability with respect to that if you make those statements outside of here.
Confirm.
He just threatened to sue him. This nasty man looking at me. He's just an angry guy. I bet he's real fun at parties.
You're confirming that police clearance certificates and criminal background checks are not done for temporary residents entering this Canada.
I have never said that certificates are required for temporary residents. They may be required if an officer decides to do so as part of a cascading security screening. None of your colleagues should pretend that I ever made that claim. And if they do so outside this place, there are consequences.
So how many of those that have been let into Canada, temporary residents, have had to submit police clearance certificates? How many?
Please respond briefly.
You would have to ask over what time period. You would have to ask which categories and which officers have asked for further police certificates. You are assuming that police certificates are the be-all and end-all, and in particular in the case of the individuals in question in the context of a police investigation. I'm not going to speak further, but you could imagine how unreliable those certificates would be were they have been required. Thank you.
Next up, we have this clip here. I've been digging. I cannot find the original source, so I apologize. This will be a little low res. I think this is from today, so they haven't posted the video yet, but I think somebody screen capped it live or something. But anyways, posted by Concerned Citizen, the Liberal meltdown continues. Liberal MP Ikra Khalid, has a meltdown due to Canadian citizens insulting her online. The Liberals are finally starting to feel the consequences of their actions. So to set this clip up, basically, Ikra Khalid is a nasty Liberal. She interrupts all the time. She's always calling for point of order simply to try to hinder the Conservatives. She is not in support of the Canadian people. She is an absolute disease, a cancer in the committee meetings. So Larry Brock called her out in this tweet. It says disrespect and ethics committee. The level of disrespect from Ikra Khalid during committee is beyond words. Her back is literally turned towards committee members. Disgraceful. So he posted this about a week ago, and in this committee clip, she goes off, and I'm going to mildly censor the words. She drops an F-bomb and says a choice 4-letter C word. So in this committee meeting here, Ikra has a meltdown. She starts complaining that Larry Brock has to take down that tweet and apologize, and then she just goes full off.
And I'm reminding you, Ms. Khalid, that anything that happens outside of this committee, whether it's a social media post or otherwise, is a matter that can be taken up by the Speaker of the House of Commons. And we've seen in the past where points of orders or questions of privileges have been raised in the House of Commons, and the Speaker has, in some circumstances, ruled on that. So any form of litigation related to this, any Twitter messages, because look, frankly, I'm going to speak frankly to the committee. I mean, we can go down a very deep rabbit hole on the issue of
Point of order,
Twitter.
Chair. I'm not sure why you're litigating this matter. I would like
I'm
to speak
explaining
for what
again
I have
where my
what I have
position- but I'm-
experienced based on the actions
Right.
of committee
so
members.
explain the actions.
So I
That's
am
the point I'm
absolutely
making,
trying to do
right?
that, Chair. But you're
But I'm not. But I don't, Ms. Khalid, respectfully, I don't want to be the Twitter police. I don't want to be a determining factor or the determinant of what's appropriate or what's not. We can do that in relation to what a member's action is. But I'm not interested in some numbered Twitter feed of what they're saying.
I'm trying to speak to, Chair. That is exactly
So I'm going to
what
allow
I'm
you to
trying to speak to.
continue with that expectation. So go
Chair,
ahead.
all I want is an apology for putting my safety and security in jeopardy by a member of this committee. That is all I am asking. And I can tell you how much hate I have received on social media. I can read it into the record, how many emails I have received, how many phone calls, people calling me and telling me that I'm a cunt because a member feels that I turned my back to him. And I am just trying to look out for myself, Chair. I am trying to look out for my
Ms.
safety.
Khalid.
No, Chair, you have talked over me and over me and over me, and all I am looking for
I'm gonna ask
is
you
an
to use
apology, and I am
appropriate
looking for
language,
a
that's all.
deletion of that tweet. That is all I am asking for, Chair.
So can I ask?
This is wild. This is it looks like things are coming back to bite you in the butt there, Khalid. Crapping on Canadians with your conduct in the committee there, month after month after month. We see what goes on in there. It's funny, she said, I'm looking after myself. Yeah, no kidding, you're looking after yourself. That's what you've been doing for the entire time you've been a part of the Liberal Party.
Why are we utilizing committee time? If you have a problem with what Mr. Brock said,
Chair,
you can approach
respectfully,
Mr. Brock.
Chair, I don't believe that is possible. When the actions that are highlighted on social media during committee by members have severe consequences for somebody like myself, I'm sorry, Chair. I am not a terrorist. I am not the 100 bazillion
Point of
things that
order,
I get
Chair.
called on a daily
Point of order,
basis
Chair.
To hear-
because
Point of order,
my
Chair.
colleagues
Just hang on a second.
put
Hang on a
me
second.
in that position,
Point of
Chair.
order,
Can
Chair.
you please stop cutting me off?
Point of order, Chair.
I am
asking for some decorum.
I
Point
am
of order, Chair.
trying very
She's the one who cuts off everyone, and she just has to stop being cut off. This is so rich.
hard, Chair.
Point of order,
to
Chair.
Get my
Point of order, Chair.
viewpoint across here to raise a
no,
very
Point of
severe
order,
Just hang on,
concern.
Michael. I hear your point of order.
Michael
Ms.
Barrett's
Khalid,
a
I'm gonna
savage.
ask-
Why
of
am
order,
I
Chair.
the only person in this room that keeps getting cut off?
Point of order, Chair.
I'm not. He's got a point of order. I'm going to go to Mr. Barrett on a point of order, similarly to what I do with you when you raise a point of order. Okay, and I'm going to ask, for the sake of the interpretation, that we not cut each other off. Okay, Mr. Barrett, on your point of order, please.
Chair,
Go ahead.
the member is citing correspondence and calls that are not from a member of this committee and that were not solicited or invited by a member of this committee. And Chair,
Mr.
Chair, no,
Mr.
Chair,
Mr.
Chair,
Barrett.
These calls
I hear your point,
strictly
sir,
from
okay?
So this
a
is
tweet
again
from that
gratuitous.
member
This has
while
nothing
committee
to
was still
do.
occurring.
This has nothing to
No,
do
no,
with
Chair, I-
my colleague. This has nothing to do with my
Mr. Barrett.
Him off too,
I
Chair.
am.
Nothing to do with my
But
colleague.
I can't have
has
screaming
nothing to do with
across
my
the
colleague.
table.
This is so bad.
I can't have screaming across the table for the sake.
That's a very
For the sake.
gender-biased statement to make.
Well,
Chair,
I
Mr.
can't
Fisher
have
and Ms.
loud
Khalid both
voices.
interrupted me while I was on a point of order.
okay, just hang on a second.
This is an absolute disaster. Ikra Khalid is just the worst ever, and she's getting it back now. Tough luck. Maybe actually act with some honor and do the right thing for once.
Okay, Mr. Just hang on with your thoughts there, Mr. Barrett.
This is a wild session here.
Okay, so I've heard both points of order. I've heard Ms. Khalid's question of privilege.
Mr. Chair, point of order. You did not hear Ms. Khalid's point of privilege. She did not get to speak to her point of privilege.
I think
she was cut off
okay.
continuously by both the chair and members with points of order.
I think she made her point.
She did not get a chance, Mr. Chair, respectfully, to make her point of dangerous incidents directed at that member because of another member in this committee's comments, inviting those people.
Look at this woke little guy. Come on, man.
Okay.
Grow a spine.
So I am,
actually
I am
didn't
not
happen.
happy with the way this
That
meeting
didn't
is
happen.
going. I am adjourning the meeting.
That was wild. I gotta wonder what Trudeau thinks about that as one of the representatives of his party. Captain Dictator, I don't think he's gonna be having that. I think he's sending out a tweet from the Liberals' official party and take the blame for that one too. She did that to herself from things she said. She doesn't get to blame others for her actions. Awesome, couldn't happen to a nicer MP. She wonders why she gets called. She loves playing the role of victim. Good, this whiner should have been kicked out long ago for her hate speech towards good Canadian taxpayers. Khalid is a spoiled little brat. The chair is unbelievable. The power of will to stay as cool as the biggest ice shelf during this. I want to clap for him and applaud this type of behavior. That is the type of political discourse that needs to be displayed to the public as it commands respect and attention. Nice. Yeah, it's unbelievable actually that he could just keep enduring the garbage. She's calling point of order and like attacking the chair. Miss Khalid here is just one of the biggest bonehead losers on the Liberals bench. Speaking of bonehead losers, we've got Stephen Guilbeault. So let's get into this story here. So basically, he reposted this. Report used in Axe the Tax rallies contains big air from the National Observer. This is, come on, guys. Talk about getting sued. Facts matter. Poilievre would rather make it free for big polluters to pollute than to propose any real solutions to climate change. Basically, it came out that the parliamentary budget officer didn't incorporate some of the industrial numbers in his findings, but basically his findings were nearly the same. But the Liberals are jumping on this and saying, oh, that's the smoking gun. Yep, Canadians get more back than they pay in, blah, blah, blah. So I've got the interview here with Vassy and Yves. This guy is really dry to listen to on every interview. Right at the end, though, he sums up a big, long-winded speech.
Backstop regime. So we plan on doing that. Work is underway. So that should be ready in the second half of this year, probably in the fall.
And before.
So what he's talking about there is they're redoing the report with these new findings, which will be ready at the end of the year, or towards the end of the year, he said.
Before I let you go, Mr. Giroux, I do have to ask you about the political aspect of all of this. We've spoken many times on this program about the degree to which the price on carbon, the carbon tax, is a political football. Part of the reason that this became public is because a Liberal MP is kind of calling out you and your office for not being more forthright about the fact that this wasn't included, for just kind of putting a notice on your website. Does he have a point? Should you have been more public about this, given the degree to which this is political?
So what she's talking about there is this bootlicker, Ryan Turnbull. He's the finance parliamentary secretary to Chrystia Freeland. He sent a message basically saying that Yves there needs to come out publicly and say something about this, when he's already posted on the website. He's posted it where the document is, that there's slight changes to it.
I don't think he has a point, to be honest, because we put that notice on our website. We also put notices on the web pages that host the two reports that we did on that. We reached out to parliamentarians. We also know that environment and climate change and government officials in general were fully aware of the issue, because some of them asked us questions, parliamentarians asked us questions, and various stakeholders also reached out to us and asked questions. And in fact, I think making a big show of this could have been counterproductive without having updated numbers. So we will release an updated report, and I'm confident that these numbers will not be significantly changed compared to our previous reports.
If I could respectfully challenge you, Mr. Giroux, just with hindsight, I take the point that you're making, but now, now one side has the ability to say it's almost like you were hiding this and call into question the veracity of the original numbers you put forth.
Well, again, as I said, based on people's knowledge of this, those inside government who know the output-based pricing regime and the federal carbon pricing system, as well as outside stakeholders, people are generally of the view that this will not have a material impact on the numbers, and certainly not on the overall conclusion that when you impose a carbon tax or a carbon pricing regime on an economy that is as dependent on fossil fuels as Canada is, it's bound to have negative economic impacts.
Okay, I'll leave it on that note. Mr. Trudeau, appreciate your time as always.
He basically just said the carbon tax is not good for the majority of Canadians. And the slight differences in their findings of the industrial pricing only moves the needle slightly bit back towards the other side. It's not like this big swing and suddenly like, oh yeah, the carbon tax is great for people. We get so much money. Like, it's the stupidity of this whole program is ridiculous. The dumbest thing about it is Trudeau and the Liberals are just going to keep running with this as it's some sort of scandal, when really he just said it's not good for an economy that relies on fossil fuels. Jumping over to my group now, let's check out some memes. Sure, I could call an election and save the country from Trudeau, but my pension, bro. Yeah. Who will snap first, Trudeau the narcissist or Twitchy McFreeland? I might have added the Mick in there. They both are starting to become unhinged. I'd say Mark Miller, he's already breaking. This is an angry man today in this episode. And Khalid, well, she's long gone. Freeland's new pumps. There's so many Robert De Niro memes in here. We're not getting into all that. It's politics in America. Is it just me, or the housing market near me is out of control? Facebook fact checker, yeah. Housing design catalog 2024. This is intense. Oh God, that's terrible. Man who agrees with the media, universities, corporations, and Hollywood thinks he's part of the resistance. How it started, how it ended. What is this photo? Macron? There's been a couple photos where they're very close. Gotta get those smooches in, Trudeau. Let's start another fire here and here. Yeah, we've seen this one. That's funny. Here's a graph of Canada and America's economies. America is the blue and Canada is the yellow. As it says here, I can't remember what happened in 2015. Yeah, 2015 right here when we're both the same, and now America has gone to the moon and we have gone nowhere. Talk moistly to me. Baby elephants are born weighing around 250 pounds. They are the biggest babies in the world except for Liberals. Let me know in the comments down below, who do you think is going to snap next? We've already got Khalid and Mark Miller. Is it going to be Freeland, Trudeau? Sean Fraser's starting to even get spicy, Mr. Buttoned Up Lawyer. Or maybe we'll get another outburst from Stephen Guilbeault. Who knows? Thanks for watching the end of the video here. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, ring it till all the Liberals go away. We'll keep fighting for freedom. I'll see you guys in the next one.